Before the grid goes down and the silence truly takes hold, do yourself a favor and hit the like button and leave a comment below. It helps this signal reach others who need to wake up before it's too late. Now, listen closely. The movies lied to you. The apocalypse isn't a blaze of gunfire and heroic last stands. It is a long, grinding siege against the fundamental laws of physics. Imagine it is day 14. The adrenaline of the initial crash has long since faded, replaced by a suffocating quiet. The faucet is dry, rattling with nothing but air. The temperature in your living room has dropped to match the gray frost on the lawn. You can smell the dust in the air, stagnant and heavy, and for the first time, you realize your home is not a fortress. It is a sieve, leaking heat, leaking safety, and leaking life. Most people think survival is about what you have, how many cans of beans, how many rounds of ammunition. That is a fatal misconception. The 72-hour kit mentality will get you killed when the crisis stretches into 365 days. The enemy isn't a raider, it is entropy. It is the slow, mathematical decay of your resources. But you're not going to be a victim of attrition. We are going to turn your suburban home from a decorative box into a sealed, efficient life support capsule using nothing but simple physics, household items, and a refusal to fade away. Your first move is to abandon the idea that you own a 3-bedroom house. You now live in a microclimate. Trying to heat 2,000 square feet of open space without a working furnace is a suicide pact with hypothermia. You need to establish a sanctuary zone. Pick a small, interior room with the fewest windows, usually a central hallway or a master closet. This is your core. You are going to seal this space off from the rest of the house using heavy blankets, mattresses, or plastic sheeting taped over the door frames. You are creating a thermal envelope, a house within a house. The physics here is simple, thermodynamic. By reducing the volume of air you need to heat, your body heat alone becomes a significant fuel source. If you have a tent, pitch it inside this room. It sounds ridiculous until you feel the difference. Inside that tent, inside that sealed room, the temperature can remain 20 degrees warmer than the rest of the freezing house. You are no longer heating the air. You are trapping the energy you already produce. Once you have stopped the cold, you must address the invisible killer that has claimed more lives in history than every weapon combined. Dysentery. When the water stops flowing, the toilets stop flushing, and your beautiful bathroom becomes a biological time bomb. You need a sanitation protocol that is absolute and clinical. You will implement the 2-bucket biohazard system. Do not use your ceramic toilet. It uses too much water to manually flush. Get 2 5-gallon buckets. Mark 1 for liquids, 1 for solids. This separation is critical because urine is generally sterile, but feces is the vector for disease. Line the solids bucket with a heavy-duty contractor bag. After every use, cover the waste with a layer of ash, sawdust, or even kitty litter. This desiccates the waste, halting bacterial growth and cutting the smell. The magic here is desiccation over chemicals. You are drying out the enemy. The expert edge: never mix the two. If you keep them separate, the liquid can be diluted and dumped far from the house, while the solids can be sealed and stored safely for months until you can bury them. You are not just managing waste, you are managing infection vectors. Now that the biological threat is contained, we need to talk about water, but not the bottled kind. You have 50 gallons of drinkable water sitting in your house right now that most people forget until they are dying of thirst. It's in your water heater, but getting it out isn't as simple as turning a handle. You need to understand the vacuum. Locate the heater in your basement or utility closet. Connect a garden hose to the drain valve at the bottom. But here is the trick. Nothing will come out if you don't open a hot water faucet somewhere on the upper level of the house to break the vacuum lock. It's simple, fluid dynamics. Once that air enters the system, gravity takes over, and you have access to a massive reservoir of clean water. Filter it to be safe, but know that this tank is your lifeline when the taps run dry. With your physiology secured, you must turn your attention to the exterior. You need to disappear. We call this the Gray Man House Protocol. In a long-term grid-down scenario, light leakage is a beacon that invites predators. You cannot just pull the blinds, you need total blackout. Use black trash bags taped directly to the glass, followed by cardboard, and then your curtain. Go outside at night and check. If you see a single pinprick of candlelight, you have failed. But there is a psychological layer to this camouflage. You want your house to look already looted. Scatter some trash on the front lawn. Leave a broken piece of furniture near the curb. If you look destitute, you look dangerous, or at least not worth the effort. You are signaling to the world that there is nothing here for them. You are a ghost, not a target. Let's talk about security, but not with guns. Your front door is likely a joke. The lock is held in place by half-inch screws in a decorative piece of pine. One solid kick, and your front door becomes a welcome mat. You need to harden the perimeter immediately. Go to your tool bench and find 3-inch deck screws. Take out one screw at a time from the hinges and the strike plate and replace them with the 3-inch steel. When you drive these screws into the wall stud, you are no longer relying on the flimsy door frame. You are anchoring your door to the structural bones of the house. It changes the physics of a breach. Now, instead of snapping a piece of wood, an intruder has to shear through solid steel or break the studs themselves. It buys you time, and in a survival situation, time is the only currency that matters. Now, we approach the most critical calculation of your survival, the caloric ledger. Stop eating when you are hungry. Hunger is a feeling. Starvation is math. You need to view your food supply not as meals, but as fuel for a biological engine. You must calculate your basal metabolic rate, BMR, to understand exactly what your body demands to simply exist. The equation you need to burn into your mind is, if you are sitting in a cold house, shivering, your caloric burn skyrockets. Conversely, if you lay still in your sanctuary zone, you can survive on half of what you normally eat. Rationing isn't about guessing. It's about weighing every gram. If you have a 3-month supply of food, you can stretch it to 6 months. If you reduce your physical output to near hibernation levels, the expert edge here is to eat your carbs during the day for energy and your fats and proteins right before sleep. Digestion generates heat, thermogenesis, which will help keep you warm through the coldest part of the night without wasting a log on the fire. Finally, you need to anchor your mind. The silence will try to break you. The lack of external stimulation causes the brain to eat itself. You need a routine that is as rigid as steel. Wake up at the same time. Ration your water at the same time. Perform security checks at the same time. You are replacing the external order of society with an internal order of your own creation. Keep a logbook. Write down the temperature, your food intake, your water usage. This isn't just busy work, it is data. It allows you to track the rate of your attrition and adjust your strategy. It transforms you from a victim waiting to die into a scientist conducting an experiment. The year ends. The grid is still down. The neighborhood is dark. But inside your home, there is a rhythm. You are not huddled in the corner in panic. You are alive, healthy, and adapted. The die-off has taken those who waited for someone else to save them, those who couldn't do the math, those who couldn't handle the waste. But you have won. Not because you had the most expensive gear, but because you understood that survival is a management problem. You ceased to be a consumer of comfort and became a master of entropy. The innocence of convenience is gone, replaced by the hard, cold pride of self-reliance. Your home is no longer just a building. It is a fortress of solitude and efficiency, and you're its commander. Stay sharp, stay hidden, and keep the math on your side. If you want to survive the silence, hit like, drop a comment with your primary heat strategy, and subscribe for the next briefing. I'll see you in the safe zone.